Whoa, what's going on, everybody? How we doing? How we feeling out there? Joan Duran, Harrison Bader, new members of the Phillies, and we've still got about 2 hours to go until the deadline at 6 p.m. Eastern. Hello, you might know me from the Phillies Therapy Podcast. My name is Paul Boyer. I wanted to hop on and do a little bit of a stream here. I am starting things off solo while Matt does his thing. I don't know if that means necessarily if something else is cooking. It might. Still a couple hours to go. The Phillies could do something else in the outfield. They could do something else at third base. They could do something at second base if they wanted to get weird. I don't think anything is out just yet. And as we've seen, the Mets have made some moves. The Yankees have made some moves. David Bednar is going. Cedric Mullins is going. Mason Miller is going to the Padres. There's a lot of stuff happening. A lot of bluffs being called, and some bluffs actually being real. We seems like Luis Robert is going to stay in Chicago for some reason. I don't know. If somebody can explain the White Sox to me, I'd be very grateful. But here we sit with the Phillies having picked up two of the bigger names, well, one of the bigger names, and then a nice complimentary piece of the deadline. First and foremost, Joan Duran, who has to be one of my very favorite pitchers in all of Major League Baseball. It's not just that he's good, because he is. He's really good. That's why the Phillies gave up a decent amount to get him. It's that he's got the fire entrance. He's got stuff that'll pop your eyes out of your sockets. Look, he is throwing his fastball the slowest, the softest he's thrown it as a major leaguer, and it's still averaging over 100 miles an hour. Plus, as Hunter says in our YouTube chat right here, he throws a thing called a splinker, which I love a lot. It is essentially a splitter movement with sinker velocity, high sinker velocity. I'm talking like 97, 98, diving down to the arm side. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. And he's got a couple other breakers to go with it. On top of that, another deal with the Twins for, I think this could qualify him for journeyman status, as the Phillies will be his sixth team, for Harrison Bader, recently of the Twins, who's rocking a 111 OPS plus this year, his best since 2021. He is a right-handed bat. He does play good defense. He is not the be all and end all to fix the offense, because a lot of the offense comes down to the big guys performing, right? You want their Bryce Harper, you want Kyle Schwarber, you want Trey Turner to be the guys who carry you, and they're going to need to be, basically. But as we do this stream here, we're probably going to see some fun stuff happen. Just like, and I'm going to count on some of you for chat notifications here. We've got one saying that Carlos Correa is in fact going back to Houston. We'll see if that comes true. That would be wild. That's an interesting contract to pick back up. The Twins are clearly just emptying everybody out. If you want to join the conversation and actually have your chat posted here on the stream, you have to be a member of our Discord server, which you get access to by becoming a Patreon subscriber. That is patreon.com/Phillies Therapy. I'm going to go ahead and put a link to that in the chats. Whether you are watching us on Twitch or on YouTube, you should be getting that chat in just a second. That is where you want to go. It's $5 a month or $50 for the year. We have a very active Discord server. We'd love to have you. Matt and I are in there frequently. We love to chat with everybody, and we hope to see you there. So basically, what this boils down to now is the Phillies checked off. Yeah, I'm seeing this on MLB Network now that Carlos Correa is going back to the Astros. Basically, what this amounts to is the Phillies have addressed their two biggest needs that we knew were going to be needs coming into the season, basically. One for sure. After Jeff Hoffman left for Toronto, you knew that the bullpen was thin, and the options that have been plugged in haven't been quite so great all the time. So the Phillies really needed something to add a little bit of swing and miss back to the equation, and they got that. And not only did they get that for this year, Duran is under control for the next 2 years as well. So that's a big thing. You give up Mick Abel, you give up Eduardo Tait to get that. That is a price you pay for something like that. That is the kind of thing where you have to give good players to get good players. Abel was a great story. Somebody who was able, excuse me, to rebuild his stock as a valuable major leaguer. He had the great major league debut. He had some other starts where he scuffled a bit and stumbled, and that's to be expected of a rookie. But he showed that he could be a viable major league starting pitcher. And that is not something that we thought was going to be the case just a year ago. Meanwhile, Eduardo Tait, for those of you who are prospect heads, you probably know that this guy hits the ball really hard, really hard. He's got a nice left-handed swing, a lot of pop in the bat, and not a ton of swing and miss either. There's some question about whether he's going to stay as a catcher, which I think could potentially hurt his value. But also, if you're the Twins, it gives you a chance at better odds than a lottery ticket, right? This isn't just some complex player. This is somebody who was already stateside as an 18-year-old, was hitting the ball really hard. Looks like he could grow into 30 homer power at the major league level. At least that's my really rough read on him. And so while that's a high prospect price for the Phillies to pay, they did not give up Andrew Painter like they stated they wouldn't. They did not give up Aiden Miller. They did not give up Justin Crawford. They still have Arun Escobar, which could put him in the mix for something coming up. We don't really know. But the fact is that they kept a lot of their big chips intact. And they kind of had to because a lot of the other teams around them were making moves too. Let's see if we can keep track and actually look at some of these things. I just want to make sure I get as many of these as I can. And of course, this is not even including the Carlos Correa back to the Astros thing that is happening as we're talking right here. But we have a tracker up here on MLB.com. The biggest one, at least in terms of actual movement, both the player being acquired and the prospects going out, has to be the Mason Miller deal with the Padres and the A's. Obviously, Mason Miller was a topic of conversation last year for the Phillies as well into the winter. The A's all along were like, no, 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 we're not going to deal him. And if we do, you got to give up something really good for him. Well, guess what? All they managed to get in exchange for Miller and a good starting pitcher in JP Sears. I like JP Sears. All they managed to get was, depending on who you ask, a top 5 global prospect in Leodalis, I'll just call him Leo, DeVries from the Padres, along with a couple other pitchers who were acquired. One was a minor league free agent, one was an undrafted free agent, and another, I think, had a signing bonus of like $125,000, something like that. And that comprises the package for one of the most electric arms in the sport. So the Padres beefed up their bullpen. The Mariners picked up somebody that a contingent of Phillies fans probably would have liked to see at third base. That's Eugenio Suarez. He reunites in Seattle in exchange for Tyler Locklear, Hunter Cranton, and Juan Burgos. Okay, good for Seattle, shoring up their offense a little bit. The Phillies, obviously, picking up Duran. Very good. Love that deal. The Yankees really, really needed pitching. Devin Williams has rebounded. They have some other guys who are interesting. Luke Weaver is still good. Tim Hill is very good against lefties. But I think if this is an arms race, literally, to make playoff games as short as possible, well, David Bednar could help you do that. So he's one guy to add into the mix. The Mets are doing the same thing. They picked up Ryan Helsley, who was another guy of interest to the Phillies. The Blue Jays have picked up Shane Bieber, who's still rehabbing from injury, but that's an interesting pickup and something to watch. Stephen Kwan, his former teammate on Cleveland, has not moved yet, but that's something to keep an eye on. The Yankees also, a couple of days ago, acquired Ryan McMahon from the Colorado Rockies. No more for his glove at this point, but has a little bit of pop. We'll see what he can do over there. I think he's already paying defensive dividends for a team that could really use the defensive help. And of course, the one that kicked it all off was Josh Naylor going to the Mariners. The Mariners remade the corners of their infield. They still have Julio Rodriguez in center field. They still have Cal Raleigh behind the plate having his MVP contending year. It's been an interesting and maybe more active in terms of the upper levels deadline than I think a lot of us were expecting. Now, this does not include Cedric Mullins, who has also gone to the Mets. Hasn't been updated for that. I'll go back to the live blog here over on The Athletic. And there are some names. You can see they have it collected up here. Mets likely done with their deadline business. Okay, great. Stop getting better. Let's look at some of the names here, and we'll get to Carlos Correa in just a second. Where was that list of names? They updated it. Okay, great. So I think when it comes to the Phillies at this point, you're probably looking for a Hail Mary deal of some kind not in terms of desperation, but in terms of, oh, I didn't see that coming. Maybe it's along the lines of a Luis Robert. Maybe they convince the White Sox somehow, some way to back down from their bluff. Doesn't really seem like they're going to do that. But now that the Phillies have picked up Bader, now that the Mets have picked up Cedric Mullins, you never know. There's still a couple hours left, right? Again, maybe the Phillies could look to the infield. I've long thought that the 0.01% chance trade that could happen is if you just empty the clip and trade for somebody big like the Diamondbacks Ketel Marte, who's a dreamboat. Doesn't seem likely. I have nothing to suggest that that's going to happen, but that'd be cool. There's a lot of things still out there. The Phillies could make some more moves. It's probably along the lines of something more minor. I think they've made their big moves now at this point. Actually pulling off the move for Duran is a big get. I'm a huge fan. I've said that a couple times already. I like Mick Abel. I like Eduardo Taid. I feel like that's a fair price to pay. Harrison Bader coming over. Again, he's having a good offensive year, but this is a guy who is known more for, at this point in his career, his defense. He's really been known for his defense all throughout his career. He's a good outfielder. He's a good defensive outfielder. And that creates a bit more of an interesting internal question, which we'll get to in just a sec. Let me see if we have any details on this Carlos Correa thing that's just come in. Okay, so Rosenthal's got that Correa is going to play third base. Obviously, that makes sense. Jeremy Pena is a very good shortstop. He's having a great year. Put Correa at third base. You probably could have made an argument back in the heyday of these Astros that Correa should have been the one playing third base and not Bregman. Obviously, neither here nor there. Um, Isaac Paredes, I don't know off the top of my head what the deal with Paredes' injury is. Injury with Astros worse than expected. Okay, cool. That kind of makes sense for why they pick up Carlos Correa then. Brutal injury update. Yeah, okay. So that makes sense for why they would want to go ahead and pick up Correa then. Um, we got a little bit of chat coming in, so I'll take a quick moment to pause and read what you guys are saying here. Scroll back up. All right, Jacob over on YouTube. I'm such a sucker for players going back to the team that raised them. There is something heartening about completing the circuit like that, isn't there? Like I know it can sometimes be sad. I know it was a little bit difficult. I think back to when the Phillies brought Jim Thome back at the end of his career to play first base, pre DH in the National League, and like it was fine, but it was clearly not a great fit. It was hard for him to play first base. Um, Marlon Byrd came back to the Phillies. There's some random guys from the 2000s like that you could pick off. Um, it is a nice story, especially for somebody who's still playing pretty well in Korea. You don't know if injuries are going to bite him again, and obviously he's got a decent chunk of change left on his contract. So it'll be interesting to see what he does there. Max over on Twitch. Eugenio slugged 429 in Seattle when he played there. Seattle has this weird habit of suppressing slugging for a number of guys. I can't say exactly what the deal is with that because I don't watch enough Mariners games to really get a good feel for what the park might be doing to certain hitters. I can't talk about it in that much detail. But he did lead the American League in strikeouts both years when he was with Seattle. And now he's come over to the National League, and his 2 years with Arizona been really good, or at least a lot better. We're looking at the same or similar averages and on base percentages and the split between those. He's not a guy who walks a ton. Did some decent walking with Seattle, but he's been more aggressive with Arizona. But the slugging, especially this year, 576. I think that's what made him so appealing to Phillies fans as something of an option there. Because Alec Boehm at this point is, slated to be back in a couple of weeks. He's starting to do activities. He hasn't played since July 18th. So at the end of it, it'll probably be about a 3-week absence if all goes well, and he'll come back. And he's never really had that kind of pop. He's been a decent hitter the last few years. You can see this. He's been slightly above league average, and he's hovering around that this year. But he doesn't have the kind of pop that an old stereotypical third baseman would have. the slugging and the pop that somebody like Gino Suarez has this year. I don't know if he would have been, if Suarez would have been the fix. Um, he would have been nice to have. He certainly would have provided a slugging lift. Absolutely, no question about that. And I don't think Harrison Bader provides much in the way of slugging in that direction, but he does provide a slugging upgrade over Johan Rojas without sacrificing too much defense. Depending on who you ask, might not be sacrificing that much defense at all, period. It's going to be interesting to see how Bader fits into the outfield. And I'm curious for those of you who are watching along with me here. We had for a while this inclination and these thoughts that Justin Crawford was going to be coming up to the outfield here in the first week in August or very shortly after the deadline to play an outfield position. The Phillies are clearly not happy with Max Kepler. I'll just pull up some of these season stats here. Kepler, the offseason signing, has not performed offensively. Defensively, he's just been okay, but he's also been asked to play a new position, so factor some of that in for a little bit of leeway. But offensively, it just hasn't been great. Hasn't been good. And the Phillies could use a little bit of a kick there. We've seen it. Offense in this sport right now is not great, but the Phillies in particular seem to have their fair share of issues. Right. Relative to the league, they are okay at some things, but you look at their inability in some games to get runners home from third base with less than 2 outs, even though, again, they rank decently among their peers in the league. Hitting with runners in scoring position is actually okay, despite, again, not really feeling that way. I'll pull up some of these numbers just to make sure I'm citing them right, and we can take a look at um, how the rest of the league is doing here. So this is the Phillies, right? And as a team, they have a 763 OPS with runners in scoring position. And relative to the rest of the league in that split, it's a 108 OPS plus. That's good. That's above average, but it doesn't feel like that, does it? Maybe it's just that the negative games stick with us a little bit more. I don't really know. But Kyle Schwarber obviously has been fantastic. Ed Sosa having a really nice run with runners in scoring position. Then another usual suspect in Bryce Harper. JT, that's nice to see. I feel like he was slipping a little bit in this department last year. Otto Kemp, great. That's a good way to endear yourself to a fan base. Then things slip a little bit and you get into, Kepler. It's just more walks and strikeouts is nice. But a 517 OPS with runners in scoring position is just, that's not what you get paid $10 million to do. Some of that clearly bad fortune. A 149 BABIP is poor and probably not all due to poor contact, although his contact hasn't been great. It's just not a good situation all around. He's got the one home run in those situations, 18 RBI. So that's not bad. Let's go ahead and use one of these other tabs and take a look at what the rest of the league is doing in these situations. So on Baseball Reference, we'll go over to the splits. Jake, what's going on, man? Anthony, thanks for the heads up about Danny Coulomb going to Texas. I would have liked him. And Jesus Sanchez going from the Marlins to the Astros. Okay. So that's interesting. A couple more things coming in. Thank you guys for the updates. Thanks for bringing those in. All right, so back to what I was going to talk about here. So this is the league with runners in scoring position, and this is by team. There you see the Phillies. They're eighth. They're eighth in OPS. It does not feel like this. This is a team that is eighth in OPS with runners in scoring position. It just doesn't feel that way, and yet it is, because offense in this league right now is just weird. It's just weird. It's got me curious though. Let's take a look at some of their high leverage production here, because maybe this tells a slightly different story. Yeah, okay. So maybe that's the confluence here. Maybe it's that the Phillies are padding their stats, so to speak, with runners in scoring possession when it matters a little bit less, when it's a medium or low leverage. Because overall, in high leverage here, and this includes plate appearances that do not have runners in scoring possession, either runner on first or no runners on. That's a 682 OPS. It's 23rd. So that is a pretty sharp difference. I guess a lot of their production is coming when the lights are not their brightest, and that's probably something that sticks with us. EB over on the YouTube chat, Kepler since June 1st has been one of the worst players in baseball. It's really hard to overlook that it's been disappointing. And I think a lot of us have wanted to give him some more leeway, wanted to see something materialize a little bit faster. And let me pull Kepler's page up here. So looking at Kepler in 2025 since June 1st, yes, that is an arbitrary date, but whatever, we'll do that. A quick sum up, we've got, boy, it's 177 average and a 586 OPS, a 182 BABIP, a negative zero point 0.7 win probability added, which for those of you who like to dig into those numbers is really not good. Almost a full percentage point loss and championship win probability added. That is also not good. It's not what you want from your starting left fielder. Those are just not good numbers. And it's a shame. I thought the spring he had was interesting. And I think Matt agreed with this, and he at the start of the season, if you remember from our season preview, was starting to change his tune a little bit. Just briefly. I think he was still skeptical. But he was starting to change his tune a little bit in that Kepler was hitting the ball hard in the spring. And it looked as though there was a chance that the offseason core muscle surgery, the procedure that Max Kepler had, maybe had unlocked something. Maybe was getting him some of his power back. That hasn't been the case, unfortunately. We've seen this before. We've seen spring trainings not translate into stronger actual regular season performance. It gets really hard to predict. You can't take too much away from spring other than, oh, I think this guy looks good. And Max Kepler did look better, and it just hasn't materialized. He was not the corresponding move um, for Duran, at least not yet. I don't think. I'm still waiting for some of these transactions here. Let me see if we've actually had anything hit the wire. So Brett DeGeus was designated for assignment as Harrison Bader was acquired. I didn't even mention that return. That was Henry Mendez and Jeremy Valoria. Mendez is a nice story, a nice reclamation project. He was picked up for Oliver Dunn from Milwaukee. He was a post-type name, post-type prospect for Milwaukee who had kind of fallen out of favor. Comes over here and is having a really good year for the Phillies. He's still only 21, so he recouped some value there. Valoria, as far as I've come to learn, is a teenage complex arm pitching prospect who's a long way away. Obviously, the Twins see some sort of projectability there, so they pick him up. He's way too far away for me to care about anything relating to this window. If he's 16, 17 years old down in the complex, that is for another era of Phillies baseball to potentially be worried about. Let's catch back up with the chat here. Harrison Bader will wear number 2. It's Ben Revere, right? Hunter? You're talking about another speedy center fielder who wore number 2. I think that was Ben Revere's number. Tyler Goodell shout out. Yeah, I was one of those people who thought Tyler Goodell deserved a little more playing time, and that was wrong. That was an incorrect opinion. All right, let's check back over with the live blog, see what else is going on here. So the Twins, yeah, all right. Twins emerging as the most aggressive sellers. It's as I'm getting stuff from all over the place here. The Astros, says Ken Rosenthal, are working to get Dylan Cease from the Padres. Yeah, there's a lot still happening. So stay tuned. We have an hour and a half to go, plus stoppage time because some of these deals might be announced after 6 p.m. It's an interesting look with the Twins. I didn't really think of the Twins coming into this as fire sailors necessarily. We knew that there were some interesting people on the team. It always felt like a little bit more of a long shot that somebody like Duran would go, possibly that somebody like Griffin Jacks would go. Made a little bit more sense to focus on the Baders, the Danny Coulombs, the Willie Castros. Potentially, he could still be moved. Guys who are rentals or have shorter amounts of control, who are older. Duran's only 27, right? In his late 20s. Is not the kind of guy you expect to go right away. He's ARB eligible for the next couple of years. Correa going relieves a large financial commitment, regardless of if they're retaining some of this money. It is a long-term commitment that they're getting off of their books. Ryan O'Hearn going to San Diego. AJ Preller is a madman. I said this in our Discord. It is fascinating and hugely entertaining to watch somebody like AJ Preller work. Um, but I'm glad he doesn't run my team. I'm glad he doesn't run the Phillies because the man would give me he would give me an anxiety attack. I think he's so aggressive to the point of I don't want to say insanity, but it's pretty out there. So the Padres are doing all sorts of stuff. They have the chance to flip Dylan Cease. They're picking up Ryan O'Hearn. Now they're getting Ramon Laureano. So is this not the 2021 Braves path? Remaking the outfield and a couple other, little bullpen additions along the way. The Padres are going to be very interesting. Let's go back and take a quick look at the Padres situation here in the standings. Can you see that? Yeah, that's good in the window. Okay. So the Padres 60 and 49, that puts them a game and a half back of the Phillies. They currently occupy the last wild card spot, and they are 3 games back of the Dodgers, who to this point haven't really done too much. Not that they've needed to do a ton, but the Dodgers have had a lot of pitching injuries and they might have more. I don't know what the latest is on Otani's cramps. I don't know what the deal is there, if it's going to affect his next start, but he had to leave his last start early because of that. He's still batted. But the Padres are in an interesting spot. They have a good team. They have guys who are performing well. Let's take a look at some of these numbers. Right. So Tatis, 128 OPS plus. Great. Manny Machado continues to have a great year, 140 OPS plus. The rest of the offense, competent, good. But you add a couple of bits of outfield help and you upgrade over somebody like, well, Jason Hayward isn't doing this anymore, but the outfield spot that he occupied for a time was just not really doing so great. Jackson Merrill has slipped back a little bit, but he's still about average. He's fine. But this is a chance for the Padres to really beef up. Not only did they add Mason Miller, who's a huge get for them, an electric arm, but now they add to the offense too. This is interesting here. This is very interesting. Let me see. I need to be reminded. Do the Phillies play the Padres again this year, or did they complete their part of the schedule? They do not play again this year. Okay. So the Phillies don't really need to worry too much about a head-to-head with the Padres, or on the flip side, if they fall behind, they don't have the opportunity to take care of their own business head-to-head that way. They do have 3 more with the Dodgers in September, a road series as part of a West Coast swing. We all know how well those go, Phillies fans. But no games directly against San Diego. So it'll be interesting to see how exactly that affects San Diego's standing in the National League West, in the wild card. They're clearly taking this seriously. I think they sense that the Dodgers are in a vulnerable spot. The Dodgers are 17 games over 500. They're good. They currently are a game and a half back of the top spot in National League. I don't think anybody's debating that they've got an incredible amount of talent and really are doing this even while getting way less than normal from Mookie Betts. Way less than normal. But I think because of the injuries, and you look how long this pitching window is. Including position players, it's 37 pitchers. It's a lot of pitchers. And a lot of these guys who are even active right now have spent time on the injured list. The Padres clearly smell blood in the water. I think it's going to be interesting to see what transpires there. Let me pick up with the stream chat over here in our Discord. There's Wurtsy. I'll slap a little thing on that. Hi, Anthony. We got a Marge Simpson. Yep, we're good. All right. Good to have you all. I'll take a moment to pause and catch my breath here. I, again, don't know exactly when Matt's going to come on. He has not texted me in a few minutes. So I don't know if that means something's going on or if he's writing something, but when I know something, you will know something. This is a live stream on behalf of a companion to Phillies Therapy, the podcast. If you are on YouTube or on Twitch, every couple of minutes, you'll see an automated link that posts through to an episodes.fm page. That includes links to all of your podcast providers. Anywhere that you get podcasts, you can find us. We're happy that you've joined us there, whether it's Spotify, Apple, or Pocket Casts, or anything like that. Thank you very much, and thank you for being here on this stream with us as we get closer to 6 p.m. Eastern. And the Phillies have yet to make a move while we've been live. We've been live for about a half hour now. And I'll take a moment to look back at chat here. All right, a Twitch question. Joan Duran, is the Phillies' best trade deadline ad since Hunter Pence, Roy Oswalt? He is one of the more consequential ads. I think the Phillies have been, I won't call them timid, but they've clearly been operating under the assumption that the last couple of deadlines were just about making the marginal moves. You know, back to Noah Syndergaard, back to Kyle Gibson, um, back to Craig Kimbrell, you know, as an offseason pickup. Like these are not impactful moves. They are nice moves. They are supplemental moves. John Duran is anything but nice or supplemental. He is somebody who commands your attention as a pitcher in this sport, just straight up. He doesn't get probably quite as much attention. This is a tough thing to judge. He doesn't quite get the attention that a Mason Miller gets, that Jacob Mizorowski is getting right now, as he's, you know, the hot new thing. He's lighting up radar guns. But Duran, because he plays for Minnesota, because he's been, you know, out in the AL Central, a division that I feel like is just completely foreign territory to me sometimes, maybe we just haven't been paying close enough attention to what this guy can do. Again, this is somebody who's operating with slightly diminished fastball velocity, and it's still averaging over 100 miles an hour. His K per nine has gone down a little bit, but the K percentages, for the most part, yeah, okay, they've gone down a little bit too. If you're going to look for a red flag, maybe you look at that and say, what's going on there? But then you feel better about it because you look at what hitters are doing against him. And even with this diminished stuff, it's a 553 OPS. Like, I don't know. I have a hard time getting too worried about somebody whose diminished state is a strikeout rate that is still above league average, who, not to mention all of that, gets ground balls at a crazy rate. Where is that table? I know that table is around here somewhere. Um, he's getting ground balls at something like a 64% rate this year. Let me see if I can control F this. Ground ball, fly ball. Okay, there it is, all the way at the bottom. 64%. 64%. I know it's not the best idea to let up a bunch of extra contact with the Phillies defense. It is better with fly balls now that Harrison Bader is around, for sure. The defense on the left side, Turner has been better this year than the last couple. You still wouldn't necessarily confuse him with Ozzie Smith. Third base, Otto Kemp is holding it down. He's doing what he can, and Alec Boehm is nice. It's fine. It is not airtight over there. Bryson Stott, very good at second base. Bryce Harper, by some numbers, hasn't been quite as good this year at first base as he was last year. I still think he's okay. This is not exactly a Hoover vacuum unit of defense. It's better. I think it's better than last year. But you still have Castellanos in right field. If you have Marsh in center field that's competent but not as good as Rojas, you imagine Bader would be playing a lot in center field. We'll see exactly how that shakes out. And then you have Max Kepler, who has not yet been designated for assignment, who is still apparently on this team. I come back to one big question. One thing that I really just want to get sorted out here. If you've been following the Phillies, if you've been reading the writers who are on the beat, Matt, my co-host, obviously, Charlotte Varnes, also of The Athletic, anybody who's been around the team, covering them, getting these stories out there, there's been a lot of momentum in the last week or two, especially about Justin Crawford. Justin Crawford, who at the moment, as we sit here talking about this, has not debuted in the major leagues, but is in AAA with Lehigh Valley and is hitting 325. with an 836 OPS. There are concerns, again, as there always are, no player is perfect. There are concerns about Crawford's approach at the plate and his swing. It produces a lot of ground balls. He doesn't hit for a lot of power. He has 3 home runs on the year, but and one of those might even be inside the park. I'm not totally sure. He will not hit for a lot of power. He is, again, not a guy who will solve the um, relative lack of slug for this lineup. What he does do, and what he does do really well, is he's athletic as hell. That includes being really fast. That includes recovering from bad reads out in the outfield and center field. He gives off kind of that, we were just talking about Ben Revere earlier in the chat. He gives off a little bit of that Ben Revere vibe. Sorry to compare him to another left-handed hitting, center fielder this way. That's overly simplistic. But one of the things about Revere in center field is that he had the speed and athleticism to make up for bad first steps and bad reads. I don't think Ben Revere had the best first read in the game. He didn't always look like he was moving a straight line out there. But because he was so fast, he could make it to a lot of these balls. And that was important. I think Crawford could follow a similar arc like that. Maybe with Bobby Dickerson, he improves a little bit. He'll get a little bit more coaching at the major league level, I guess. But right now, it looks like he's an athleticism complementary fielder, which is fine. If you add that to the mix of this team, this Phillies team, which is already a pretty good one on the bases, pretty good, not great, pretty good. I feel like that adds a level of excitement, a level of juice, right? So they're 91 for 110 in steals this year. That's really good. That's just stolen bases. Let's go take a look at some of their base running numbers while I keep talking about this. I think if you add in somebody like a Crawford, where we have 39 outs on base so far this year, and relative to the league, yeah, okay. See, that's really high. That's where their deficiencies as a base running team come into play, because either through aggression, bad slides, what have you, they've made a ton of outs on the bases, a ton of extra outs on the bases. So that's something you'd like to cut down on. It's just second in the National League to the Padres, another good team, but one that could deal with shoring up its base running. Yeah, so that's pretty good. But you added Justin Crawford to that mix. Maybe you wreak a little bit of havoc on the bases. I don't know what role Justin Crawford could play on a playoff roster, but it would be interesting to see what he could do when he actually gets to the major leagues. I also continue to wonder about Stephen Kwan, who, as again, we sit here right now, has not been moved. He is about to turn 28 in September. He is the Cleveland Guardians left fielder. He is an excellent left fielder. It's not just that he's won gold gloves. He's just really good out there. He's got a good arm. He's got good reads. He has a rather infamous deke move that he uses with the tall left field wall at Progressive Field to his advantage. I don't know how much that would be affected with the shorter walls in Philadelphia, but that's a problem I'd like to have. He, again, would not solve the slug. A lot of these guys are not big on the slug. Harrison Bader is the most powerful arm of a lot of these options, which is kind of weird to say, at least as far as outfielders go. What Kwan does, though, is fairly unique in this game, is he walks as much or more than he strikes out. That is rare. I actually ran a StatHead search earlier today when we were talking in Discord, and Kwan is one of only 4 players to have played a game in the 2000s, since 2000. So we're talking the last 26 years, to have, let me see if I remember this right, 2,000 or more plate appearances with as many or more walks than strikeouts, and an 80% success rate in steals. The other 3 were Hall of Famers. Kwan comes in on the low end of that comparison. Barry Larkin, Tim Raines were 2 of the others. Like, he's not quite there, but what he does and what he's doing this year is fairly unique across the sport in terms of his profile as a hitter. Much as the Phillies got Jhoan Duran, who throws a unique pitch, the splinker, Kwan is a guy whose contact skills, packaged with his defense, make him unique. Now, they would have to give up more for Kwan than they gave up for Duran. They probably would. I would imagine that would be the case. We're talking about, in Stephen Kwan, a player who is ARB eligible for 2 more years after this, much like Duran. Affordably young. I, it would be difficult to see. Look at that, one strikeout in his last 5 games. It would be difficult to see a package as quote unquote light as the one the Phillies gave up for Duran when they included Mick Abel and Eduardo Tait. So we'll have to see what happens there. He has not moved as of yet. We've got more stuff coming in. Let me take a quick look here. Okay, we're getting some whispers, and I can't tell you who is texting me. It's not Matt. There's a whisper that the Phillies are involved in a 3-team deal at the moment. I don't know what that means. I don't know what players might be involved in that. I don't know anything. And there's a question mark at the end of it. I don't know if that's something, but because this is live and we're doing trade deadline stuff, we're just we're just letting it roll. So stay tuned on that. I don't know exactly what the case is. Maybe this is the reason for Matt being a little bit later to comment. Maybe something's happening. I think one thing that's really important, it does depend, EB, it does depend on whether Cleveland actually wants to move him. I don't really know what Cleveland's deal is, to be totally honest with you. I don't know what Cleveland's deal is. I don't know what the situation is. It's a strange team. It just is. It's just a strange team. They've got good pitching, and a lot of these guys, you can see the ages here, 26, 25, 26, 26. Well, Luis Ortiz isn't going to be around. And Emmanuel Clase, who knows if he's going to be around. But they have a lot of young guys on this team. Hi, Matt. He'll be coming through on the chat. He is here. He's gonna pop in. Oh, did I not let you know that, Matt? Hi. Matt, I emailed you the link to pop in for the source. Go ahead and jump in there. I'm sorry. I started at 4. I just thought you were working on something. All right, so Matt will be joining us in just a second. I love little conspiracies. All right, so Matt's going to be able to join us here. EB again says Minnesota played chicken and then ended up selling. I don't know. I agree with you. I don't know what the Guardians want. They did trade Paul Sewald, but he's older. I believe his contract is expiring. They did the right thing by pulling Clase off of the trade block when it came out that he was going to be involved in the federal investigation regarding gambling. And it's a huge blow, not just to Cleveland, but to the sport, really, that Clase is embroiled in this, the thing that swept up his teammate Luis Ortiz. But such is the way, right? So now you have potentially, who knows how long you're going to be without Clase, who is your best reliever. Cade Smith has to step in. I don't know why he's got a negative WAR with the season he's having. That's strange. Hunter Gaddis is also fine. They've got some other guys in that bullpen. Getting more whispers about this 3-team deal and its potential relation to Kwan. No. Stay tuned there. Something might be happening. I think something might be happening. Well, we have an hour to figure it out. Okay. What was my point? What was I saying? I was talking about Cleveland, right? I don't know what Cleveland's deal is. And I don't know if all of a sudden all of this means that this winter Jose Ramirez becomes available. Like he's immensely popular and he's still hitting like a cornerstone player for Cleveland, right? Like this is unbelievable at this point. This guy is on a 10-year run of being exceptional. He's just so good. But if the team around him now is going to be less impressive, and if you're Cleveland, you're thinking about now trading Stephen Kwan, well, then what reason do you have to hold on to Jose Ramirez? Do you think you have enough to build around him for the remainder of this deal? You have 3 more years left with Jose Ramirez. Like, what is the plan? It's a rhetorical question. I don't know what the plan is. One thing to consider too is that Ramirez has 10-5 rights. It's entirely possible he would want to stay with Cleveland. I'm getting way ahead of myself. Either way, it wouldn't happen right now. Even with a sell-off, Cleveland would not be in a position to trade Jose Ramirez. That's just not something they would do. But I do wonder about the broader plan, and I think it calls into question exactly what Cleveland's going to do. So we'll have to take a look at that and stay tuned. Let's go back and refresh the blog. Oh, I got Matt joining in over here. There we go. You should be seeing him on stream. I think he just popped in. Matt, can you say something? I don't know if he can hear me yet. All right. Well, Matt is on the stream. Hello, Matt. Can you hear me? Oh, he just left. Okay. So Matt will be back. Oh, I love live streaming. All right. Some more whispers about this potential 3-team deal. Apparently might involve Philadelphia, Phillies, Cardinals, and possibly Cleveland. Yeah, honestly, Matt A, I would be dead too if I just went through the 24 hours that Gelb was just going through. Because that's a lot to deal with. The delayed game, getting home so late, well, getting to his hotel room late, and then getting on the red eye, and just oof, having this be deadline day when it's entirely possible that another big trade could still happen. Um, okay. Yeah, stay tuned on this 3-team trade thing. Something might be cooking here. Something might be cooking here. I am going to refresh my VDO room. Let's see if Matt can rejoin. Matt hasn't checked in here. Here we go. Matt, can you hear me? Matt, wave if you can hear me. Hello. He dropped his video. Okay. Well, as Matt figures it out, I'll let him continue to do his thing. We'll go back over to the live blog. M. Stark, yes, of course, absolutely. You're welcome for this. I have wanted to do something like this. Matt, I think I'm in. Yeah, Matt, you're in, and if you can hear me, I see you, but a black square on your video room. You're just giving up a little icon here. I don't have any video from you. So go ahead and refresh that if you can. We haven't done this in a while for those of you out there. We did a couple of Twitch streams last year for a couple of live recordings. All right, there's your video. Hello, there he is. All right, you should be able to hear Matt now. He should be coming through on the stream. He's barely with us. He's hanging in there. Matt, hi. Good good to see you, man. Glad you're hanging in there. Oh no, can you not hear me? Oh, good. Matt, can you hear me? Okay, I think I know what I need to do. I'm going to tell Matt to hop in our Zencaster, and that's what I'm going to use to pipe in his audio because he cannot hear me using this. Okay, let me get this open. Matt, if you can hear me, hop in Zencaster, and I will use audio from that. Okay, can you hear me? Okay, excellent. Let me just make sure everybody else can hear us out there. Pull the Zencaster room up. What's that? Yeah, that's okay. I had to mute that to prevent echo. So now I have you coming through the Zencaster room. No, it was me. This was actually this was how we did it. I just forgot that I had the audio come through the Zencaster room because we were recording episodes at the same time, and I would just match it up with your video through the video room. So now we should be linked up. We should be good. That's that's okay, man. I was telling everybody after the last 24 hours you've had, it's nice enough that you're here anyway. Yeah, me too. Cheers. No. What might be? Can you say what might be the holdup? Is it that they're asking for Painter? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, I heard they made a pretty good offer that didn't include him, and they were said no. They said no. So I don't know if he's going to get traded. I mean, it seems like the Padres just did their offense move, and I was told, hold on, let me go find a text.
The part
Padres, Phillies, or Dodgers?
the part that did not come through because I didn't have Matt's audio potted up was that he does not think that the Quan thing is going to happen.
Can people hear me now, or are you
Yes,
just talking from
people
there?
can hear you now. You're good.
How many people are on this right now?
Good question. I don't have the numbers up in front of me because I didn't want to be distracted by it, but I can tell you in a second as you pull up what you know about Quan.
I mean, it sounds like their last update I got was still trying.
Okay.
Not optimistic.
Okay. That's interesting.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I think there's some confusion about whether he goes.
Well, I was just saying too, I don't understand what the Cleveland plan is.
That,
What
that's
is
that's part of the confusion.
yeah, like what is the deal?
Also since the Twins are burning the whole thing down, that has to factor into your calculus for next year too,
Hmm.
right? I mean, you go into next year. I mean, if you're the Guardians and you're right in it. Also, like they're not totally out of it yet this year either, which I know it's like, we don't. Yeah, not everybody's the Angels, but they have a better odds than the Angels do.
Yeah, 2.5 games out of the wild card entering play today. Like that's you would think that would be close enough to
Yeah,
justify
and the only guys
going
that
for
they've
it.
subtracted were like two injured guys, right? I don't think that did they trade anyone else in their major league roster? They traded Seawald and Bieber, right?
Right. Bieber is gone to Toronto. Sewell went to Detroit. Looking over this real quick, I don't think anybody else has been traded from their major league roster. No.
It's a bad roster.
That's the thing, right? And that might be the argument for can this team actually turn it around in like the Jose Ramirez window? We talk about the Phillies having the Wheeler window. Cleveland very much has a Jose Ramirez window. Like he is only under contract for the next 3 years, 6, 7, and 8. And
I guarantee you there'll be talk this offseason about them trading him.
eh, thank you. Okay, that was what I was thinking about. Like if there
I mean, I would
is
assume. I mean, if he's down to
right,
3 years now, I mean, yeah.
yeah, it's not a July thing, but it's definitely something to think about in the winter. And Cleveland could just absolutely they
Who
could
plays
completely
for the
remake their team.
Padres now?
Right. So they just
People
picked up
are like,
Ryan O'Hearn,
like,
Ramon
yeah. I
Laureano.
don't know. The bar was real low there. I mean, a really bad lineup, just really bad.
With Cleveland, you mean, or San Diego?
San Diego,
I
before. I
hmm.
mean, the bottom like four in that lineup has been
Oh,
rough.
okay. Yeah. Yeah, definitely
I
not
mean,
deep.
rough. A lot of Bryce Johnson
Yeah.
and a lot of Elias Diaz and Martin Maldonado. Honestly, the best trade today might have been Freddie Fermin. He's really good. Like
He is
that is a
interesting.
low key
Yes.
like solid trade. He's older. Like I think he's 30. I think or
No, he's only
29.
oh yeah, he's 20, he's 30. He
He's
debuted
a little
late.
older. He's a little older. So, but he's sneaky. He's sneaky good. That was a
I
good
see
trade.
he played some second base this year. That
He's a
must have
catcher.
been just an emergency. Yeah, 1 inning. Okay. That's not
You
a
want to
good
talk
one.
about Phillies outfield?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so
I might
Harrison
come in and
Bader.
out here, but I'm for right now. I think I'm all right
Yeah, yeah,
now.
yeah. So Harrison Bader, right, gets added to the mix. And now we have the right-handed bat that some
We
folks were asking for. Maybe Harrison Bader was at the top of their list. Either way, they have a right-handed bat who's having a good year on offense and who has a very, very strong defensive reputation. You add him into the mix. I think for the moment they're going to option in Johan Rojas rather than
well, we
designate
can
Max
talk about
Kepler.
this. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not
Question mark?
100% sure. Nobody has really come up with an answer yet because I think they're waiting to see what else happens here. But I think there's like you can lay out at a few different scenarios here. Like you can lay out uh, you can lay out the scenario. Sorry, I'm reading a tweet right now.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can
yeah.
lay
No,
out
it's
the
okay.
scenario in which you have Bader as an everyday guy, and I suspect they'll take the Austin Hayes tact that they did last year. Where remember when they got Hayes, um, he had been an everyday guy, wanted to be an everyday guy, and I said we'll let you be an everyday guy to start.
Hmm.
And I do suspect that they will do that with Bader. He has not played every day for the Twins, but he's played a lot more left field than center field. But I suspect that he will be their everyday center fielder.
Okay.
And so scenario one is you have Bader in center and Martian left, and just straight up let him play.
Okay.
Um, maybe maybe whoever is the righty bat that sticks, the other righty bat gets some starts in left field against lefties. Uh, maybe not. Then scenario two is you get a platoon of Marsh and Bader in center, and you bring up Justin Crawford. You play him in left.
Hmm.
Scenario number three is you keep Max Kepler around. You use him as a bench bat. You have Bader in center and Marsh in left. I mean, I think right now the fact that they did not DFA Kepler to get Bader on the roster is notable, I think, but they also have a ton of guys on the 40 who could be DFA. So like I don't know what it means yet. I think it might have just bought them a little more time into make this decision.
Hmm.
Rojas, yeah, I don't know like what happens with Rojas here. Like likely scenario is he doesn't play right now, so like you could just keep him around as your fifth outfielder or uh send him out to AAA. I don't know what you do with him. I mean, I don't know.
Are the Phillies giving off the impression that with these two moves, with bringing in Duran, with bringing in Bader, that they're content with that? I mean, I figured they would, but you're not getting the sense that um, even if they don't say have something bigger in mind, like if they're not trying to work on something with Quan or anything like that, that it's really just a matter of if something falls into their lap at this point, would we expect
I
them to
think
be
so.
done?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think so.
Okay.
They've made calls on more relievers. Um, I talked to a couple of teams who got calls from Phillies today just about more middle reliever types.
Okay.
And if a guy falls in their lap, I think they might think about it. Um, there's probably more relievers who are going to get traded here. None of these starting pitchers have been traded, right? Is that going to be this last hour?
I
Right?
guess
Like
it was
all
just
the starting
Bieber, right?
pitchers. So like none of the Diamondbacks guys have gone. None of the
Hmm.
Marlins guys have gone. Cease is still out there. Um,
I
who
wasn't
else am I
expecting
forgetting?
Jesus Sanchez to move before one of the Marlins starters. That's true.
Oh, this has got to be a Mike Bauman headline on Fangraphs. Bad Phillies outfield gets Bader from trade with Twins. That's got to be him, right?
Let me see.
Nope, Jay Jaffe. It's a great headline though.
Ah, okay.
Get it?
Of course I do. Of
Somebody
course.
made a great note about Bader, and it's in this story. Is that he's got the largest season to season jump in bat speed in all of baseball, all the qualified hitters this year.
The new thing that they're tracking with
Yes.
Statcast.
Yeah. He changed his offensive profile dramatically, and it's also why I think the Twins pick up Henry Mendez is like low key, like kind of good because I think he's a major leaguer. I think he's like a fourth outfielder, and I think they're
Mhm.
going to get the best out of him because um, he needs a swing change, and a lot of teams that came in and saw him really liked him, but thought he was a project because the Phillies um, hadn't necessarily optimized for like the pull side power, and Twins do that, then they do it well, and I actually think that Henry Mendez is a pretty solid get for them.
So then, how did they get Mendez to be so revitalized? Because he was a post type name with Milwaukee, and now the Phillies turned him into somebody productive, but they didn't fully optimize him. What did they do? Did they just
No,
refine his
I think
approach?
they let him. Yeah, yeah, refine an approach. I mean, he
Okay.
made way better swing decisions. Like he was a
Okay.
pretty good, um, you know, one of my least favorite phrases, like controlling the zone. He's a good controller of the zone, but he hasn't necessarily hit for the kind of power that I think that he could hit. Um, like he's a project. I mean, like let's not make, uh, he's not a he was not a top 10 prospect in our system. He may not even been a top 15. He probably was because the after from about 6 to 20, you could pretty much arrange them in any way you want. I think so.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. Uh, here's what I got here. Guardians. They don't get desperate. Down to the wire. They have been telling teams they would need at least 3 of their 5 top prospects.
For Quan.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we'll see. That could change. I don't know. This is an update I just got here from
That
this.
could
This is
change.
pretty good. This guy's pretty good for me. This guy's usually. Um, what outfield alignment, Paul, with the current roster would you prefer? What scenario or what door are you opening?
I'm
Are you
I'm
opening
thinking
the
right
Crawford
now.
door right now, or you think you're going to hold off on that?
I don't know. I am still very I'm still very intrigued by this whole impact on Crawford, but I think right now I would do Marsh left, Bader center, Castellanos right. Um, Maybe to keep things interesting, though Castellanos would probably not be happy about this. Maybe they split a little time in right field. I don't know. Maybe it's not
I
worth it
mean,
if Kepler isn't going to be around.
could you make an argument that their best outfield is doesn't include Nick Castellanos?
It might.
And I'm not saying defensive. Obviously, we know the best defensive outfield doesn't include Nick Castellanos, but does the best overall outfield not include Nick Castellanos right now?
So like I thought about this earlier, and I was looking at this. I'm like, there's no sensible part of my brain that thought, ah, yeah, one of the 4 league average or above league average hitters in this lineup is somebody that they're going to jettison after all this. But I still feel like something is just not quite fitting together. I had thought for the last couple of weeks, and this is purely subtextual,
I think it's fitting
purely
together.
reading between the lines, that
Sure. Oh,
Justin
Alex
Crawford.
Call went to the Dodgers. See, that was a good.
Oh,
That was a good name.
okay. Alex Hall went to the Dodgers. Good.
They had some interest. I think the Mets and the Phillies and the Dodgers, and there was somebody else that was in on him.
Fine. Uh, the last couple of weeks, Justin Crawford, right? Seemed like this was this freight train of momentum that, yep, early August, he's going to come. Max Kepler's time is running out. You can see the sand falling in the hourglass.
Well, Max Kepler's
Now,
time might have
in
run out, no matter regardless here.
well, yeah, but not yet, right? It almost felt
Well,
as though once the
yeah, I mean,
Phillies
it could
got
still happen tomorrow. I mean, it's
tomorrow, yeah, but it always felt like once the Phillies picked up their guy, and you think it was going to be a complimentary bat. Yeah, it is. In Harrison, although they might play him more. That once that happened, okay, that's it. That's the time. The Kepler thing is done. That's the end. The clock has struck midnight, and that is not the case. At least not right now. Neither of those guys, I don't think, have. Maybe only Duran has officially. No, where's the transactions? Yeah, so we have Bader on the 40 man, but not on the active roster,
correct.
and same with Duran,
Correct.
right?
They
And
have to make
Duran,
two 26-man roster moves tomorrow,
yeah,
as of now.
right. So Duran took McAble's 40 man spot, so that's why that was a clean swap. And now Bader has come onto the 40, and Brett DeGeus was DFA'd. Um, and then we have the maneuvers when they.
Tomorrow.
I don't know. I still feel like maybe this is just wish casting. Maybe I'm just projecting. I still feel like there's
I think you
something
are.
missing. I still feel like there's something missing. We'll see. But
I
yes,
mean, sure, but like, I don't. Yeah.
that was my ideal outfield. That's the 3 that I would start with because I
What's your
don't.
ideal outfield again? Sorry.
Marsh left, Bader center, Castellanos right,
Yeah.
because I don't know what you do with Castellanos right now. There clearly doesn't seem to be a place for him
Do
to
you
go.
think there's
So
an
I'm
argument to be
concerned.
made that like if you bring Crawford up, there's a little bit of there's like a little bit of juice that they get like from a younger guy coming up, and like again, I don't know what he is. Like we don't know what he is, right? I mean, there's reasonable questions about what he will be in the majors at least immediately, but he could be fun.
It could be a lot of fun. He could be a ton of fun. He would be a player that the Phillies don't really have
I
on their roster
I
right now.
think some of the calculus for the Phillies, Paul, change and not that one week is gonna change it, but like Marsh had a really good week, and like he's been
Mm,
better, right? I mean, like he did have a good week. I thought he had a good week, and like there were like underlying things that you saw that were like it's better, like just driving the ball more.
mhm.
Um, and they've just really wanted that. They've just really wanted to drive the ball, and if you stick him in left field, like pretty good. I mean, we saw it last year. His left field is really really good,
Yes, it is.
really good,
Mhm.
like really good. Um, and Bader is a better center fielder than Marsh is. So
Mm.
I think they've made meaningful improvements here. I do. And it's not gonna make anybody happy, I don't think, but I think it's better. Um I do.
I agree. I think even if there are no other moves to be made, that yeah, the team is better. You know, the outfield
Like
defense was
would
a
you
big
rather
thing.
had Mullins or Bader?
I don't know enough about the prospects that went to Baltimore for Cedric Mullins. I think Cedric Mullins is, in a way, kind of like the Luis Robert angle, where you're trying to get more out of a guy who a couple of years ago was a tremendous talent. You know, Mullins went 30-30 3 years ago, right? Wasn't that it? And, you know, I, I don't know if I would have felt so great about a little mini project of sorts. It's kind of why I was a little bit hesitant about Robert, even though he excited me. He was a little bit more of an attractive
Yeah, I mean
proposition to
Bader
me
is
than
more plug
Mullins.
and play here. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Um,
And I think
so I'm
he's
fine.
had a better year than Mullins, and like honestly he's
Yes,
right handed, and that is the difference between him and Mullins right now.
yeah. Catching up with chat here. Yeah, it is an interesting question. I do not know how, and thank you, folks who are chatting in
How are
the
we
stream
doing in
chat.
chat?
We're doing pretty good. I am. I need to take a look at something over on the Twitch stream real quick. But as I do that, I will vamp and say, how are the White Sox not moving Luis Robert? Matt, this was a thing that we were trying to suss out, and it really came down to, I guess, the White Sox front office really wasn't bluffing when they said that they would hold on to him. I mean, there's still, an hour left, but that they would hold on to him and
No, the
pick up
teams
his
that would have
option.
gotten him have all made moves, so no, he's not getting traded.
Yeah, it's wild to me that that's where we find ourselves.
It's very, very funny.
I was so sure.
I told you I can't remember. What did I say? I could not remember a trade candidate quite like this one. Like I just could not remember like the situation surrounding him, like the way that the selling team had looked at him compared to how uh, acquiring teams were looking at him. I cannot remember a situation like that.
It's
And
bizarre.
I think they had decent offers. Like they had decent offers for him. Not great offers, but like pretty decent for like a rental, which is what he is.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of what the White Sox are doing. I think they're squandering a chance here to do
The Red
something.
Sox? I don't know. Yeah, you said the Red Sox? White
No,
Sox.
no,
Sorry,
I
White
think the
Sox.
White Sox are
The
squandering
Red
an
Sox are also
opportunity.
squandering a chance, but
Yeah, I
yes.
don't know what the Red Sox are doing
Uh,
either.
White Sox, yeah, I don't know. White Sox also haven't traded Adrian Hauser like that. Who's like a layup trade. I mean, you trade that guy 100 times out of 100.
All
Danny
right,
Cologne they got that the very small return.
another guy I would have liked him, Caleb Ferguson, good left-handed options.
So you're saying you look at the Phillies deadline differently now, given what the Padres and the Mets have done? Does that
Um,
scare you?
no, I think
I
the
don't really
Phillies
know what the
kept up.
Padres have done here.
Well, I think the Phillies came into this deadline with a leg up, or a half
Yeah,
leg up, because they have a rotation that none of these other teams have, and they didn't need to address that. Now, maybe the Mets could still make a move. I feel like the Mets probably should could have
I
made
think the
a
Mets are
rotation
done.
move.
Yeah,
Um, but the Phillies rotation, I mean, my God, you throw Zach Wheeler and Chris Sanchez out games 1 and 2. I know they did this last year, yes, and that was the bullpen's fault. That wasn't Zach Wheeler's fault. But you throw those two guys out there to start a postseason series, even if they only go 5 innings with playoff leashes, you still got to feel a whole lot better about their odds of doing that or more than really any other potential playoff teams 1-2. I just don't see it. And so they could come into this deadline knowing that they have those two guys in place. They have something stronger at the top of their pitching order than any other team that's trying to buy could claim. And they could completely exclude themselves from the starting pitcher market. Even if they considered something for Jesus Luzardo, changing him in some way now, which it doesn't seem like they will, they'll wait maybe till the end of this month, end of August or early September, something like that. They could maybe have thought about a starting pitcher there, but Aaron Nola's coming back too. It was just nice to
How do
focus.
you you know, we were ranking last night. We went over the pitchers, like, taking your 10 best, 9 or 10 best guys. Do you think they should go get one more guy in the middle there? Are you worried about the sort of, like, let's say you're like third time through the lineup for a Nola or a Ranger start, and you need like a sixth inning guy there. Do you think Robertson, Lazar, Romano is suitable, or like do you think they're still a little soft there?
They're a little soft there, and I feel like
They
if
they kind of made their bed though, didn't they, with
they kind of
Robertson? I mean,
did,
like they,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, like he's got to do that. That's his job now.
yes. Honestly, I like Duran and Kirkering as your top two options, which I think they are, and then I think
Yeah, Kirker and Strom are going to be seventh and eighth inning guys, and they're going
yeah,
to be interchangeable depending on whether there's lefties due up in the seventh or the eighth.
that makes sense. And then I like Tanner Banks. I like what he's doing. You don't feel like he's a lockdown guy, but he's doing some good work, and I feel pretty confident when he comes
A
into
very
games now.
fine middle reliever.
Yes, which is good. Jordan Romano will not be on the team, or if he is, you doubt he pitches in the playoffs. If Max Lazar is in a game, something went wrong or very right. And that's kind of the line at which I start being like, oh, okay. David Robertson could be the guy that comes in the sixth if the starter can't finish that inning off and polishes things off there. And I feel better about that, you know, than having Lazard slot into that, having Romano slot into that. Because Lazar is, even his last outing aside, he was due to get hit around a little bit, maybe not that much. I still like him. He's a competent middle slash long reliever, and that's okay. You don't want him pitching big spots in a playoff game. So if he's in there, something might have gone wrong.
Yeah.
All right, we got a couple questions coming in from the chat here. Let me see if we can pick out some of these things here. Any chance? All right, so we've talked about outfielders, and it doesn't seem at the moment like another outfielder is coming in. But we'll pivot to the infielders with the thought about what Alec Bohm or Bryson Stott potentially could be. As expendable is maybe a tough word to use for them, but they are upgradable, probably. I don't get the sense
Not
that
right
this is,
now. I
yeah,
think
I don't
that's
get
more
the
of a
sense
winter
that's a right
thing.
now move.
Yeah.
Um,
That's my feeling.
if the Philly starters are only going 5 innings in the postseason, it's already over. I don't know if I hear you, John. I hear you. I don't know if I necessarily agree. I feel like the bar in the playoffs is such that if you're getting 5 innings a start, you're doing good. You have survived, some kind of run scoring situation, a runner scoring position, or you've let in a couple because the leashes are so short and so tight in the playoffs. Even for some of the best guys, if you give up, if you're Chris Sanchez and you give up 4 runs by the time the fourth inning is over, I don't know if you're coming back out for the fifth if it's a close game. It all depends on the situation. I think if you get 5 innings from your starter, you're good. And with this Phillies rotation, they give you that extra chance to get more outs. That's where I think a lot of the value comes in is that added chance to get more playoff outs from your starters because those are so much harder to get once you get past the fifth inning. Really, even once you get into the fifth inning.
Yeah, and also again, the playoff bullpen is going to be different than the regular season one. I mean, there is going to be at least one starter back there, and then the Painter factor, we don't really know. Maybe he ends up being a guy who grips it and rips it for an inning. in
Yeah.
the playoffs.
Yeah. Entirely possible.
Uh, Sorry.
No, it's okay. Just one sec. I'm gonna mute the audio real quick just to check on something. Okay. We're back. Hello. Um, Question from a Caro. Is there a trade candidate that isn't the flashy slugger people have been focused on, but a guy that can be a legit leadoff like Stott was supposed to be? I mean, I think Trey is pretty well entrenched himself as a leadoff hitter for now, but I don't know if there's a guy like that for this team right now that really fits into that. Even if I think about the utility bats, my guy Willie Castro, right? He's not
He still
really a
hasn't been traded.
no, he hasn't, and he's not really a leadoff
He's like the
hitter.
only twin left.
Yeah, right. Like you could lead him off against lefties, but I don't know if you'd rather do that than have Trey up there. I think that's probably the angle. Um, what Stott was supposed to be, what he was a couple of years ago, uh, that's tough to recover. I share that disappointment because I think 2023 it was a season of hope for me and Bryson Stott and what he could be on offense, and that just through last year and now this year hasn't materialized, and that's a shame.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
like I think this is what you see is what you get now. I mean, this is pretty much. I'm not sure that they can really remake the whole thing here, and I don't know that they need to remake the whole thing, but they're not the
okay,
Padres.
yeah. What would A question from Matt L? What would have been the Phillies equivalent of the Coulomb trade? Danny Coulomb. Let me see. What exactly was he traded for? Do you remember that off the top of your head, Matt?
The like the equivalent is like the 20th ranked Phillies
The
prospect,
Twins will receive left-hander
that
Garrett
range,
Horn. Yeah, I mean that's
15 to
not.
20.
Yeah, it's something the Phillies could have parted
I
with.
don't know.
I'll put it that way. Yeah, something lower than Gene Cabrera or Iverson Castellano. Like
I mean, Castellanos probably there at this point. He missed the whole season
that's
basically.
true. That's true. Yeah, not a
I
huge
don't know. It
price.
would have been, yeah, Castellanos probably the, yeah, Daniel Harper,
Oh,
Castellano,
question from C Cat
Seth
Kiss.
Johnson.
How do you both feel about the state of the outfield? Well, I guess I've said my piece on that. Um, Matt, do you think that outfield alignment makes sense? Do you think there's going to be more swapping, more piecemealing and platooning still? I know that's kind of become a taboo word.
Uh, I don't think there'll be as much platooning to start, and I do think it's better. Because I think that it's
Hmm.
better defensively. Like I think with Martian left and Bader in center, uh, you've got a really good defensive unit.
Hmm.
And it's not as good as Martian left and Rojas in center, but Bader's bat is measurably better than Rojas's. So I think the net there is probably the best outfield they'll run out all
Yeah,
season. So
yeah, that's got to be the value prop there. And
how about the Braves? We didn't talk about the Braves.
okay, yeah, let's
Are
let's
they
talk
just not
about
going
the
to trade
Braves.
Raisel Iglesias? Does nobody want him? I mean, he has not been good. And Marcell Ozuna, it's not that surprising. I guess he has zero value. What is his free agency? Oof.
I don't really know. Like, I understand that the Braves traded for Carlos Carrasco and Tyler Kinley because they just need warm bodies to pitch major league innings for them
Oh
at
yeah,
this
that's
point.
solely that is. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean
Same
it's just
with Eric Fetty. Yeah, all that.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean it's just a disaster for them. It's an absolute disaster of a season. They just need people who are somewhat major league caliber to pitch those innings. But you're right that they still have, Ozuna. We were talking about Ozuna as a surefire slam dunk guy to be dealt as soon as the Braves really kind of fell out of this. And
yeah.
his name has not come up
He's also got the
once.
5 and 10. He's also got the 5 and 10, and I think
Has he really been there that long
that could be
already?
a factor. Yeah.
Yeah, he has. Wow. What is time? Anyway, yeah.
The twin. Oh, to the question in the chat, the Twins are not eating a significant portion. They're eating some of the money. on the Correa thing.
Oh yeah, I saw that there's one prospect going from
And
Houston,
it's not even a prospect; it's a minor leaguer.
minor
But the,
league.
the the Twins are not eating a significant portion. I would not characterize it as that.
Okay, is it like a half pay down?
I think it's less. I think it's
I think it's less.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, less.
Twitch question from XJ Davis. Can you explain Kwan's contract? Okay, I don't know how arbitration years work with team control. Excellent. This is great. I love doing this
Did
kind of
you
stuff.
tweet out a link to this or send out
I did on Blue Sky.
yeah, whatever the hell it's called?
Yeah. Okay, excellent question. Thank you, XJ Davis, for asking about arbitration. I love talking about this stuff. Okay, so let me on this Fangraphs page pull up um, Cleveland's payroll page. So when we
Oh, you're
talk
so
about
excited.
years of control and
There you go,
arbitration,
Merrill Kelly to the Rangers. Sorry.
oh, okay. When I saw when I saw Anthony Anthony put sounds like Merrill to Texas. I thought he was talking about Jackson Merrill from San Diego for a second. I was gonna be like, what is happening? Anyway, Stephen
There's one
Kwan.
guy that AJ probably will not trade, and that's Jackson Merrill. He
Yeah, right.
loves Jackson Merrill. Seriously.
Um, okay, Stephen Kwan. So when you're a major league player, you accrue service time, and that's measured in days. You can earn up to 172 service time days in a season, even though the season is actually a little bit longer by a couple of days. Once you reach that number, you have accrued 1 year of major league service time. Once you hit 3 years, complete 3 years, you then become eligible for arbitration. What that means is you can file as a member of like the players association who is gainfully employed by a major league team. You can file to have your salary decided by an impartial arbitrator on the merits of your accomplishments through your first years in the league. And the team that currently holds your rights cannot simply renew your contract. That's a lot of what happens with pre-arb guys. They get renewed, basically just given a figure for a slight raise above league minimum, depending on how many years it is. And right now, the league minimum is just under $800,000. With Kwan, because this is his first year of arbitration, he's making, as you can see on this Fangraph screen, about $4.2 million. For the next 2 years, he cannot be a free agent unless he is released. The team that holds his rights, right now, Cleveland, maybe another team if they trade for him, will have 2 additional seasons, 2026 and 27. This is based on the number of years he has been in the major leagues to figure out his contract situation. If they don't come to a long term agreement, each of those 2 years, he will be eligible to file for arbitration. They can come to an agreement, like you hear sometimes a lot of these teams do. Some are what we call file and trial, but that's a different thing to get into later. And then Kwan, if he stays in the major leagues and keeps accruing this service time as he is right now, would be a free agent after 2027 when he could then sign with any team. So because he only has a certain amount of service time, he is eligible for arbitration, not eligible for free agency. And that's what puts him in this situation. It is guaranteed, unless the team decides to move on, that he will be on your roster if you control his rights for the next 2 years after this one. And that's a very valuable thing to have. That's why you see a lot of these guys who get traded, prospects in particular, because they sometimes have exactly zero major league days, have not started their clock at all, where you have the rights to this player at a controlled cost that is usually far below what they would get as a free agent. If Stephen Kwan were about to hit free agency right now as a 28-year-old, possibly coming up on his fourth straight gold glove in left field, walks more than he strikes out, steals bases, runs, he'd get a lot of money. But instead, because he's arbitration eligible, he's probably only going to make $8 or $9 million as an ARB2 next year, something like that. It's a significant discount. And that's why a lot of these teams, right or wrong, usually when you're in your arbitration years, you're not getting paid what you're worth on the field. Right or wrong, that's why a lot of these teams value these controllable years so much. Thank you for asking. Thank you for letting me nerd out about that. That's arbitration. There you go.
How often do you wear your glasses?
More often since I've had kids.
Yeah,
Sometimes I
I
just
have.
don't.
I mean, I wear contacts. I
I do
I, I
too.
cannot stand my glasses though. I just don't wear my glasses.
Yeah. No, this is, I'd say about half the days I wear the specs. lately. I have contacts too, but they don't go in nearly as much. All right, so Merrill Kelly goes to the Rangers, who
The
I guess will.
Marlins. There's a few compelling teams left here in the last half hour for me. One of them is the Marlins.
Mhm,
Uh, the Padres, of course.
mhm.
Mm, and Cleveland, and that's about it, really.
So the
The Red Sox
Padres,
appear to be
Cleveland.
content to do nothing. They got
I don't
Steve
get it.
Matz.
I don't get it. I don't understand.
How far back? They're in playoff position right now, and their additions were Steven Matz and am I forgetting somebody?
I don't think so. Did they? Let
Weird,
me pull up the transactions real quick.
weird, weird deadline for the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's their
They got to
move
get
right now.
another starter, right? So I guess Kelly goes and Gallen's gonna stay, and they QO Gallen.
Mm.
Would that make sense?
I think so. I would like to see Gallon, if I'm the Diamondbacks, I would like to see Gallon rebound a little bit because I guess he's been a little
Here you go,
better,
Willie
but
Castro to the Cubs. You're gonna be upset
no,
about that.
no. To the
And probably one
Cubs.
of the funnier trades of the day is Oswald Peraza going from the Yankees to the Angels.
Sure. Okay.
Sure, sure.
Oh
The
no.
Cubs didn't get enough pitching.
Willie Castro.
They'll get a starter here in the last half hour.
Oh, that's a shame. All right. Well,
What is it about Willie Castro with you? Like
I know
what's your
he's just one of those guys I latched onto
you just
here
like
in the
him
last
that
couple of
much?
weeks. I do. I do. Well, I mean, right. So we came into the deadline thinking, what do the Phillies need in terms of offense? They could ideally use somebody who hits right-handed and hits lefties pretty well at a base level. And in Willie Castro, you have somebody who can play any position on the field pretty well, decently well enough. The Phillies don't have a true utility player. And do not tell me Weston Wilson playing at second base makes him a utility player because it doesn't. They could do that. And Castro is way better batting right handed against left handed pitching.
Sure.
So,
I just don't. I mean, yeah. I mean, Wilson might already be off the roster. You know, if he goes for Bader,
mm,
there's only so many roster spots.
it's true. Yeah, it's absolutely
I
true.
mean, Sosa is not like a super utility guy, but he is their utility guy. He plays three different positions.
Oh, well, that's okay. I can live with that. I will be very interested to see how the Kepler Crawford outfield situation gets resolved in the next couple hours or
Well, in about
day.
an hour, we have a call with David Dabrowski, and I'm assuming he will not reveal any answers, but he might.
Yeah, I don't know. Like
The
what?
team that probably had the I don't know the team. I think if you're looking at disappointing deadlines here,
Uh-huh.
I think Detroit's to the top. I just don't get it. I don't get it
Yeah, don't get me
at all.
started. I don't either.
Uh, Boston,
Okay.
Milwaukee,
Yep.
nothing,
Nothing. Just
nothing,
nothing.
not a single move. Like I get it, they're smarter than everybody else, and they can take Andrew Vaughn and make him into, um, you know, the best power hitter in baseball for 2 weeks. But
Yeah.
I, I don't get it. I just don't get it.
The Reds picking up Keep Ryan Hayes is a little weird.
Super weird. Everyone else, I don't know. A's had a great deadline. I think that was a
Hmm.
they
You
did
get
well.
the global number 3, an 18-year-old shortstop who's one of the highest regarded, international signings in recent memory.
They
That's
did
pretty
really
good.
well.
And as much as I love Mason Miller, the fact that the A's got their asking price, basically. I know they included JP Sears, who's fine as a number 4. The fact that they got their asking price for him eventually, they held to it and they got it. Like, good for them in that way. Good for them.
The Rockies actually made a couple trades.
Yeah, Jake Bird to the Yankees. Jake flipping the bird.
Who's
Kaka
left on
says
Baltimore?
the Red Sox are going for Joe Ryan. That would be interesting. That would be a starting pitcher that they could use.
Who said that?
Comment on YouTube. Be interested to see that come true.
I mean, gosh, if the Twins trade Joe Ryan, then you would argue they should sell the team, but they're already trying to sell the team. That's
Yeah,
rough.
yeah.
That's rough.
It's
Cody Clemens is he like their like number 2 hitter at this point?
he really kind of
He's
is.
gonna play every day the rest of the year. Good for Cody.
Like he's had a nice run over there. He's slugging really well, but oh my goodness. And how long do you think
Charlie
Byron Buck?
Morton wasn't traded.
Well,
I actually thought somebody was gonna trade for him. He's been
yeah,
all right.
maybe. Yeah, he's rebounded a bit. How long do you think Byron Buxton sticks to his? And like, obviously, he's going to stick with it this year. Like, do you really think he's going to stick with this Twins team that's stripping it down to the core?
Big fish in a small pond.
You know, it's up to him. He negotiated the NTC and he's got it. But man, like that would
Mm-hmm.
be a tough way
Yeah.
to
No,
drift.
Minnesota's beautiful. You ever been there?
I actually have not. I have
Great,
not been to
great ballpark.
Minnesota.
Great. I mean, like I've only been there in the spring or the summer. I've never been in there in winter, and I'm sure it's brutal. But
Yeah, I mean to say nothing of the city, I just mean the baseball situation there with that team. I don't know. Yeah, Willie
what do you
Castro,
think
the
of the
Cubs.
Mariners deadline?
Well, obviously, I like Caleb Ferguson. I thought that was a really smart pickup. Um, I thought he made a lot of sense for a lot of different bullpens, and they were able to snatch him. Who else did they pick up? There have been a lot of moves, and I'm just trying to keep them all straight. Let me look at Seattle's depth chart here and
Well, they got
transactions.
Suarez and Naylor.
Yeah, well, yeah, right. The Naylor move that kicked it all off. The Suarez for I'm not. I've heard of Locklear, but I'm not really familiar with Juan
Decent
Burgos and
prospect.
Hunter
Pretty good for
Cranton.
a bat.
Yeah,
Yeah, those other guys are lottery tickets, I think.
yeah, okay. Uh, yeah, I like it.
Their bullpen feels light. I think they're trying to make one more reliever move.
I like Ferguson slotting in there. I think Gabe Spire's been fine, right? Matt Brash is an arm I've liked really since his debut. I think he's interesting, and Munoz is obviously good, but I think he's walking a few more guys this year. I don't know if that's exactly true. He was definitely the Yankees caught on to him. They were one of the
Yeah.
the pitch signaling that they were doing. They really figured something out with Andres Munoz, so that's something to watch. Oh yeah, Munoz is having another really good year. The walks are up a little bit, but they've always been a little high. Yeah, he's really good. Yeah, it's a good deadline. I think I like the Phillies
God, the
deadline a
Pirates are
lot.
disappointing teams. Like, what did the
The
Pirates?
Pirates, well, if they don't trade Mitch Keller, I guess
They're not going to. Dennis Santana,
they
Isaiah Kiner Falefa.
they got Bednar out to the Yankees, so there's that, I guess.
They couldn't push O'Neill Cruz or Brian Reynolds on anybody.
Yeah, that O'Neill Cruz stuff just kind of
T
came and went,
Fam.
huh?
T Fam trying to
Hasn't
get
Tommy
traded
Pham
for
been
like the
traded like each
18th
of the
straight
last
deadline.
four
Yeah.
deadlines or something? Yeah. To answer a
I
couple
have to
of
get off
the
and make a call real quick. All right.
yeah,
I'll be
okay.
right
Do you
back.
want? I can keep it rolling for another couple minutes. Do you think you'll be back?
Yeah, I'll be back. It's only
Okay.
5.
All right.
Yeah, I'll be
Yeah,
back.
go ahead.
Just give me 1 second.
Yeah, no problem. All right. So while Matt makes a quick call, I'd like to hear from those of you out there on the out there on YouTube or on Twitch or anybody who's still hanging with us. Do you like the Phillies deadline? Because I do. I think even despite some of the other National League teams making aggressive moves and maybe more moves in volume, I like what the Phillies did. I think obviously I love Joan Duran. I think Harrison Bader, while imperfect, is a decent fit. Matt was talking about how he may not provide exactly the same level of defense that Johan Rojas could when he's right, but the offense is so different. Even if Bader regresses a little bit, the offense is so different as to make that defensive difference just it doesn't really hold up. I mean, you look at Bader's profile. BABIP is a little bit higher than normal, but it comes with a corresponding hard hit rate. The average exit velocity, though, is down a touch, right about in line with his career average. I do like to see that the hard hit rate is that high. I wouldn't expect that to fall down too high from 322. It's a little elevated, might come down a little bit, but the fact that he's got the elevated hard hit rate, I think that's good. That'll probably provide a little bit of cushion. Checking in on a couple of the comments. Angela likes the Phillies deadline a lot. Yeah, I'm there with you. Josh, fix both of our major holes. Can't be disappointed. Again, right there with you. Hitting on both of the needs, I think, and EB echoes this. Um, EB and temporally spatial both echo this. Knowing what your needs were and then going out and actually solving them with competent players, and in some cases even more than that with Duran, is really nice to see. The part that EB and temporarily give on top of it all is that they didn't give up any of their top three guys. Maybe if, depending on what you think about Eduardo Taiit, maybe he was your number three. But the simple fact of the matter is they didn't give up Painter, who, despite his uh, lesser overall performance here this year, is obviously still a huge prospect. And this doesn't dim his light for the future. And Aiden Miller, who has also been a little bit better at Double A and is still young, I think he'll be fine as well. You didn't have to give either of those guys up yet. If something materializes in the last few minutes here, and that's a big if, um, maybe one of those guys goes. It doesn't seem likely at the moment, but it's entirely possible. Let me slap a little Matt Will BRB. I'm going to slap a little text over Matt Will BRB. There we go. Matt Will BRB. Yeah, so I agree with those who are like in favor of this deadline so far, because it's really hard for me to pick a move that's like bothering me. And I think a lot of that comes down to, let me just add this real quick. All right, Matt Will BRB. Matt Will BRB. I need to make that black so that people can see it. Where's the color? There's the color. Select color. This is live streaming, folks. This is the kind of good quality you get when you tune into this. There we go. Matt Will BRB. Stream chat over on the Discord. Again, if you're not a member of our Discord, patreon.com/Phillies Therapy. That's the chat that you see overlaid on the stream here. The Discord is on and popping, baby. It's a good community. We'd love to have you be a part of it. It's $5 a month. That's as cheap as I can make it. $50 for the year. You get 2 months free if you want to do that. It's a good deal, in my opinion. I am no update on the 3-team deal as of yet. The group chat has gone a little bit silent in the last 40, 50 minutes. I don't know if that means something changed. To catch those of you up, if you're joining us later, you weren't on in the last 45 minutes or so. There's back channels, and everybody takes everything with a grain of salt. But this is one particular group checks that I have with people I trust who are very smart. And there was some back channel scuttlebutt about a 3-team deal that the Phillies may have been involved in. There were no exact specifics. It may or may not have involved Stephen Kwan. We don't know. There were no other names discussed, no other details, and it's gone quiet since then. Again, I don't know if that means if we've gone into war room state and something else is cooking, but we're coming down below 20 minutes here. And if something's going to happen, well, that's the amount of time we got left to see. There are some deals, if they go all the way down to the finish line, that get announced after 6 p.m. has passed. I think famously the Justin Verlander deal that sent him to the Astros went down to just a couple of minutes before the deadline expired. But that, because the paperwork was done, they could announce it after 6 o'clock. So the deal's just got to get done. We might hear about it after 6, but the deal's just got to get done before 6 o'clock. So that is the latest, M. Stark. That is the latest that I have on that rumored supposed 3-team deal that may or may not be out there. I kind of hoped that it was. I kind of hoped that it was the case. I really would have liked to see one more big move, even if it meant giving up a couple of the big guys. I mean, I love Stephen Kwan and think he's a great fit, so I think that would have been really cool. But
you couldn't hear me or anything, could you?
We could. Hello, Matt is back. Let me take down that BRB. How do I?
You couldn't hear me, could you?
Nope, couldn't hear you.
That's good.
What a tease!
No. I just didn't want you to hear that conversation.
Miguel
Royals
Andujar going to the
acquiring
Reds.
Bailey Falter.
Oh, Miguel Andujar going to the Reds. Oh, everybody's going crazy.
Royals acquiring Bailey Falter.
The
Bailey
Royals,
Falter was born to be a Kansas City Royal.
they're
Actually,
making
that's
moves.
like
They're making
perfect.
move Kansas City.
Is it
What's
not?
Bailey
Isn't that
Falter's
perfect?
What's Bailey Falter's season line looking like? I know he had like a
I don't know.
crazy low
He's a
ERA.
fifth starter. He's a fifth starter.
Ugh, yeah.
But he's born to be a Kansas City Royal.
Yeah. Get off
Oh
my
man,
lawn.
I look and feel awful right now.
Man, you're good.
No, I'm just like I don't feel great right now.
Hang in there. It's just another half hour. Then you can rest for 10 minutes, and then you talk to Dave, or he'll tell you maybe something or maybe nothing about the process, and then that'll be it. Then you can sleep for 12 to 15
No,
hours.
that's not how it works. You know that. You're a father.
And the team has to go play baseball again tomorrow. We can talk a little bit
They
about that
are.
while we wait for other things to happen here. Let's look at the schedule coming up.
Wheeler and Scooble on Saturday.
Yeah, well, we hope.
I think, right? It wasn't there something about Scooble's wife's
Yeah, Scuba might hit
pregnant
the paternity
slash
list,
had a
something like that.
baby.
Yeah. Detroit and Baltimore, the remade Baltimore Orioles.
Gosh,
No Cedric Mullins. And then a nice little road trip there.
but
Yeah, the
still,
Detroit
Charlie
series will
Morton.
be the Detroit series will be interesting, but what are they going to, they're just going to throw a whole bunch of their middle relief arms at the field. Like I don't the Detroit I am
It's the
so
return of Matty
mad.
V, the fighting Matty V's.
I am so mad with what Detroit is trying to do here. Like you have
I would
this
just say,
team.
given the reputation of the front office, it's hardly surprising. Honestly,
Yeah, but
it's just a risk averse group.
yeah. Ugh,
Matty
just
V has not done well, has he?
no.
I know he's hurt a lot, but he hasn't done well since he
And
came
then
back.
your Kyle Finnegan and Rafael Montero are your bullpen additions. Like you do nothing about center field or shortstop if you want to move Baez back out there. Like what are you doing? This team is good and could use that help. Talk to your division rival. Get Robert. Do something. They haven't done enough. Maybe they come in and take 2 of 3 while I say this. I don't know, but they haven't done enough. Matt A is asking if Bader and Duran will be available this weekend. I would think so. I would think
Yes, they will both be there tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Sandy Alcantara will not be traded.
Okay. What's his contract situation, Sandy?
He's on a very team friendly deal.
Yeah. Why did I do that?
He is signed through next season with a 27-team option.
Oh yeah, that's easy to pick up.
21
Yeah,
million.
I can understand waiting on him.
We'll trade him in the offseason.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The Edward Cabrera thing
I mean,
didn't make as much sense to me.
Oh, I would sell high on that guy.
Would you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Apart from that, there's just not a lot happening there.
I thought they'd be a little more active.
Dane Myers staying put.
Anthony Bender.
The Bender staying put. Jesus Sanchez went to
Cal
Houston,
Quantrill.
but okay.
Jack Winkler.
The guy they just called up?
I'm joking. Remember,
Oh,
I just
okay.
saw see his name here. I just see his name here, and I said, remember that?
Okay.
Remember when they played the Marlins? They're like, who the hell is Jack Winkler?
Question from Busby over on Twitch: is Correa going to play third base in Houston? Yeah, that's the way it sounds because Jeremy Pena is playing short. It sounds like Correa is going to play third base.
What a thing! What a thing!
How much did he have left on his deal? How many years?
A lot. About 100 million, I think.
Oh, they already took him off the man. The people who update roster resource are so fast. Okay, so he's
32 next year, 31 in 27, 31 in 28, and then a bunch of team options.
Wow.
So he's got about 100 million. Yeah, a little more than 100 million left.
That's wild.
That's a lot, man. And also, like, he's
beat up.
He's beat up. He's in rough shape physically. Yeah, he's not a shortstop anymore. Clearly,
Yeah.
You know, but probably has to go to the outfield or be a DH at some point. Like they'll do third base, and you know.
Oh, another AJ Preller deal, picking up Nestor Cortez from the
There you
Brewers.
go. The Brewers did something. They sold Dustin May, Red Sox.
Dustin May to the Red Sox? What?
Hmm.
For
Interesting.
is that part of a Jaron Duran thing, or are the Red Sox giving up the prospect
I
to the Dodgers?
definitely not getting Jaron Duran for Dustin May. Dustin
No,
May has
like it's a
been
bigger thing, but yeah.
sneaky bad this year. Yeah.
Huh. All right. Well, here we go. We're coming up on 10 minutes left before 6 p.m. Again, there may be some deals announced after 6 p.m. Um, as paperwork gets finalized here as we reach 6 o'clock. Matt, I think for your part, I'm just glad that you made it home safely after your travails and trials last night following the delay and getting home.
Yeah, I did fine. I did fine. I showed up to the airport this morning and I wasn't on the flight that I was supposed to be on. They hadn't. American Airlines, a fine corporation, had not properly rebooked me. And the guy's like, "Who did you talk to on the phone?" I said, "I don't know. Somebody from American."
Oh man. Did you ever find out what town in Illinois you were staying in before
I
you
was in. It's funny. Charlotte asked me this. I was in Lombard, Illinois.
Lombard, Illinois? Lombard, Illinois? Hang on here. I gotta look this up. Okay. Lombard, Illinois. Here we go. Let's Google Maps this boy. Oh, you're not far from a Sky Zone trampoline park. Okay, so you were about 10 miles west of Chicago.
Yeah, it just took forever to get out there, and it was a huge storm that I was driving in my that I wasn't driving, but I was a passenger in the lift.
Yeah, that has now made it east. I think we're in a bit of a lull here, but we've got
The weekend weather looks great.
yeah, thankfully. Lombard, Illinois, not far from Wheaton, Illinois.
Okay, here we are. Let's see.
A lot of people in chat know a lot about Illinois. I've been to Chicago a
Just
few
text.
times. I used to work for a company that was headquartered there, but that's about all I know. That's all I've really been to Illinois for. Megan Montemuro was out there now for a while covering the Cubs, and now
Yes, Todd and I had lunch with Megan
oh,
this week. It's
nice.
great to see
That's
Megan.
awesome. Hi, Megan. I know you're not watching, but I hope you're doing well.
Uh, Brandon Lockridge. It's like the most Brewers player ever.
Speedy, yeah, he's
The
very fast.
Brewers. What?
They love their speedy
Classic
guys.
Brewers.
Yep, here we go.
So the
Here's
Padres are getting Cortez. Yes, T.S.
some
Godfrey in our
real
Hug
time
Watch chat.
real-time radar in a little bit of a lull between thunderstorms there where I am.
I agree. The Padres getting Cortez means that they're about to trade Cease. I think Cease is going to go to Houston here.
Okay. There you go.
Oh, a second.
All right, that's enough looking at Lombard, Illinois. I won't say I'll be disappointed if the Phillies don't do something else, but I've kind of hyped myself into believing that something's going to wallop me out of nowhere, that they are actually going to do something.
You should never do that.
I know. I never learn, Matt. That's the problem.
Jose Caballero?
Oh, I like him.
Please.
What's he doing? Where's he going?
He's changing dugouts currently in Yankee Stadium.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I liked Jose Caballero. I figured he was a tier down from Willie Castro.
He's been all right this year.
Yeah, he's been okay. Another guy who's really fast. I think he's still leading the American League in steals. Yeah, he's leading the major leagues in steals. He's 34 for 42. Plays everywhere.
It's been a lot of trades. So I guess like that's okay. So we talk about the Phillies deadline like in the proper context.
Mm-hmm.
Like in a normal trade deadline, like I think what they did the last 2 days is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I think what people are going to have trouble with is, comparing it to what say the Padres did. Because I look at the Mets and the Phillies deadlines as comparable. No,
similar.
Like,
yep, I agree.
Very comparable. The Cubs are getting Taylor Rogers.
He's getting flipped again.
No, the other one. Well, yes, he went from the Reds to the Pirates to
Yeah.
the Cubs.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the NL Central Circuit in a span of 36 hours.
He never
That's
pitched for the Pirates, but he'll always
that's
be a
wild.
Pirate forever.
Oh, the
Yeah.
Mike Piazza route. Yeah.
Well,
Almost.
Piazza actually
Yeah,
played.
it's actually
There you
played.
go. The Rays are getting Adrian Hauser. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
Maton is going to the Rangers. Do you know that Wolfie is out of baseball now?
I was surprised by that. I was actually looking at his page a week or two ago. I was surprised that he was done. I was
He
convinced that
got
he was going to be a
released.
useful player. Yeah.
Yeah.
Question from Anthony D in the YouTube: is there a single outfielder traded that's better than Harrison Bader this deadline?
Oh, that's a good question.
That is a good question. Um,
Depends on how you feel about Ramon Laureano, I think.
it's the only one that would be close, right?
And he's not a center. I mean, not really a center fielder anymore, right?
They're playing him mostly in right in Baltimore, so yeah, that's funny. I actually didn't consider it from that angle. Yeah, he right now might be the best outfielder traded because Jaron Duran isn't moving. He's better than Jesus
I mean,
Sanchez.
I need a list. Do you have a list? Is anyone compiling a list of all the trades that have been made? Do you
No,
have that?
I
Like, is
was
any
gonna.
website doing that?
Anthony E. I need to send Matt a Chipwich hat. I haven't done that yet. I'm gonna send him a Chipwich hat.
This is my what hat I'm wearing right now. I'm wearing Oscar Blues
Oh,
Brewery,
nice.
Asheville, North Carolina.
Yeah,
Cool
I think
place. Great
my
beers.
merch samples order is supposed to arrive today, assuming it didn't get washed away in the holy flood that encompassed my neighborhood. Let me see if I can get a. Let me see if I can get a list here. I don't know if I can.
One thing I would say is that with the Quan stuff,
Hmm.
this is one thing that I was told is that if he does not get moved here in the next 5 minutes, which I think is possible, uh, a lot of groundwork has been laid for potential reopening of this in the offseason.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense. I would expect. I would
And
expect
that's
his
how
name to come
Cleveland
up a
does
lot.
business. This is like a
Yeah.
classic. If he doesn't get traded, this is a classic Cleveland front office move here.
Uh-huh.
So, to just gain information and then open it a little wider in the offseason. Hold on a second.
I was watching replays of Jose Caballero giving literal hugs in the dugout during the game. It's nice. I feel like that's the first real hug watch since the Twins were messing with us this week. The first one that I've seen, anyway. Adrian Hauser is such like a Rays pitcher. He's just that like that weird combination of effective that
What
those
are the
teams
Rays
just love.
doing?
I don't
The
know.
Rays always have the weirdest deadlines.
They just it's so strange. Yeah. Watching MLB Network up here. Yeah, okay. So
Do you
there's that.
watch MLB Network?
Some yes,
I don't even
sometimes
think I get MLB Network.
I get
I
it,
mean, I guess I can
and
get it through my MLB package. I guess I could just watch it through
I
MLB
like
TV,
putting it
right?
on
Is
to
that
watch whatever random game they're simulcasting at like the 7 o'clock block when I have a second screen open for the Phillies. Um, yeah, I don't always love the analysis, but that's just personal preference. All right, Anthony's got a list of outfielders: Jesus Sanchez, Alex Call, Cedric Mullins, um, Josh Outman, not Josh Outman,
no?
like James Outman. Oh my God. You know what that is? I was looking at Joe Blanton's page earlier this week. That's where that's
Were you looking
planted
at
from.
Adrian
Oh
Cardenas?
my God. Ramon Laureano, Harrison Bader, Austin Slater, Randall Grichuk. Yeah. Okay.
It's a great question. I mean, I think it's
Yeah.
either Laureano or Bader.
Oh wow. Curtis Mead is going to the White Sox for Adrian Hauser. How about that? Boy,
Wait,
if there
really?
is a yeah, if there is a deal, if that's true, if there is a deal that has
Hold on, I gotta
completely
text somebody
changed,
about this.
I just man, what was that 5 years ago now? Like that when that deal was made.
I gotta text my Rays guy about
Oh
this.
my goodness. All right, Luis Robert not getting dealt. Yeah, that's fine. That confirms, I think, what we were expecting by now.
Hilarious.
Wow. Curtis Mead for Adrian Hauser. I don't know. What more do I need to say
All right,
about
so hold
that?
on, wait. Can I write this down? Well, hold on, I want to write this down. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
The outfielders?
Yeah, hold on. Let me open up a file
Well, one of my plugins changed, so I will be taking that off.
Rays guy. I said Curtis Mead. He said the White Sox said no to it 5 times.
For Adrian Hauser?
Well, it got done.
Okay. I said no to it 5 times.
Okay, so
What is going
read that
on
list
over
again.
there? Oh my
Call.
god.
Okay, Laureano, Mullins, Call, Slater and Bader. Should have gotten the Slater Bader combo.
I'm getting to this a little bit late, but we have a stream chat question from our Discord. Mr. Unruly, any good baseball website to use other than Fangraphs, Baseball Reference, and Baseball Savant?
Baseball America, Baseball Prospectus.
Yeah, B Pro is very good. Shamefully, I've never had a Baseball America subscription, so I can't include that in my list. COTS Contracts is very helpful for.
Baseball Prospectus basically 8, not 8, but they bought or assumed cost contracts. Oops.
Yeah.
Please read me the outfield list again.
Yes.
Sorry.
Let me pull
Camilo
that up.
Duvall traded to the Yankees. There you go.
Oh my gosh! Everybody coming in under the
I
wire.
was waiting
Okay.
for that. They knew that he was a guy out there.
All right,
They
so the
wanted
Yankees,
a lot. I'm curious to see the return on that.
Yankees are doing a ton
That's
for their
going to be a
bullpen.
big return.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the outfield list: Jesus Sanchez, Alex Call, Cedric Mullins, James Outman, who I missed getting moved, Ramon Laureano, Harrison Bader, Austin Slater, Randall Grichuk.
I mean, Bader is having, I think, the best season out of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Is he the best one? I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, Laureano's probably been the best season. It's close.
It is close.
But he's not playing. But he's not a center fielder. So I think that does knock him down a little bit.
It does. No, I agree with that.
Right? Has he only played? Yeah, he's played mostly right field. Well, obviously they had Mullins. Yeah.
There is another thing. My link might be old. Let me see.
Everybody should harass the writers who tweet pencils down at 6 p.m.
Oh, okay. Over in the Discord, I'm gonna put it off of stream chat because I want just the Discord people. This is a little bit of gatekeeping, and I'm sorry to the author of this, but I want to keep it. I want to make it a benefit for the Discord people. There is a site that was coded and put together by Baseball Prospectus's Rob Orr, where it's damage, his damage site, where he's got Seager, where he's got selectivity, damage per batted ball event. It's a table where you can basically see who's doing what at the plate in a really kind of like advanced level. And it's great. I'll say it on the stream just in case you're not in the Discord and asking that question. It's therealistmuto.shinyapps.io/damage. I hope you got that. I'll say it one more time. Therealistmuto.shinyapps.io.
Oh, the Rays got Jax. Quan has not been traded.
Quan was not traded.
Quan was not traded.
And the
Here
Rays
we go.
got Griffin
Quan
Jax.
was not traded.
Okay. And the Rays got Griffin Jax. That's an interesting move from them. That's
Griffin Jax. Holy moly.
Is that what they did?
All right. They did.
Wow.
Quan was not traded.
Okay.
That is official.
So that was it. That the Phillies deadline is over. They got Joan Duran and Harrison.
I'm checking. Hold on. I'm checking.
Okay. Wow. This ended up being way more active than I thought it was going to be this year.
Dude, the Twins have traded everybody. Louis Varland and Jack. Oh my god.
What did they do? They emptied the club?
Holy shit. Yes. Charlie Morton went to the Tigers.
Detroit, man. I
actually like that. I dig that. I think Charlie Morton's got something left.
Okay.
But in a vacuum, that's that was their biggest acquisition.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Yeah, yes it was. All right, so who else went
the
from
Twins
Minnesota?
Traded everyone. The Twins traded Varland and France and Jax. Phillies are done.
Okay. Where did they send Ty France?
To Toronto.
Okay. It's interesting from a Toronto perspective, but okay. Huh. All right. So
Alan Roden going to Minnesota.
okay. All right. So Alan Roden, that's
He's
somebody
a
who's
major league player.
absolutely pummeled AAA, but hasn't been able to make it work in the majors.
All right, I'm trying to pick up the pieces here. You guys can watch me do this. I might not be doing a lot of talking.
Yeah, no, that's good. I'll let the silence and tension build.
Okay,
Even
so
though,
Phillies are
as
done.
Matt said, the Phillies did not make any other moves. A little surprising, but not so terribly surprising.
I mean, again, like let's like we'll see more filter in, but I mean, we listed the outfielders. Like he is either the best or the second best outfielder who was traded in the last 3 days.
Harrison Bader, yes. Which is wild to think about with
Astros
some
are
of the
done.
names.
Astros did not get Dylan Cease.
Interesting.
Astros get Correa, Urias, and Jesus Sanchez.
Okay. It's fine.
I want to find out what the Rays traded for Griffin Jacks. Uh, really, really like what the Blue Jays did this deadline. Do not like what the Yankees did. I think they need another starter.
They did. They absolutely did. Like, I know bullpens help, absolutely, but the starting pitching
Who
situation
starts
over
game
there,
3 for them?
right? Like, it's really questionable. You know, Max Fried and Carlos Rodon are having good years for sure, but Clark Schmidt is not coming back. Garrett Cole is obviously not coming back. So Will Warren, you can put Will Warren out there, like,
I mean, Luis Heel. I mean, that's they're banking on him coming back healthy.
you know what? I forgot about him. Yeah, I guess that's it, right? There's your three. That's a lot of faith to put in him coming back from a big injury. Okay.
Taj Bradley is going in the Jacks deal. Hold on, let me text my guy.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Taj Bradley.
Let's take a look at Bradley's stats on here. Not great. I know Bradley was really heralded coming up. His performance is fine. Still only 24. He got optioned after his last. Ooh, that's not a good way to end it. I guess I understand why Minnesota would do that, though. That makes sense.
Hold on, so I'm trying to help out a guy here.
Yeah, sure. Louis Varland going to the Blue Jays is another one of those Twins relievers I would have thought about if they hadn't picked up Duran. I like Louis Varland. I like
Straight
Justin
up.
Topa. I didn't hear his name come up. I would be a little bit surprised if he stuck around. Brock
Straight
Stewart
up, it
went
sounds like Taj
to.
Bradley. Up there it is. Now it's out. Ah, fuck. Yep,
Where did
there you
Brock
go.
Stewart go again?
Oh, you just barely beat passing. You just barely beat passing.
For what?
Nothing. I'm trying to help out. I'm trying to help
Oh,
out a colleague here.
oh, okay.
It's people helping people. Uh,
Last one out in Minnesota, turn out the lights. Yeah, for real. They're importing some interesting guys, but boy, that's a flurry of announcements to come at the buzzer there.
all right. I'm using this in a tweet now.
Okay. Oh, it's a package deal, so it's Louis Varland and Ty France in the same deal for Alan Roden and
Yeah.
Kendry Rojas. Okay, that makes more sense. That makes more sense. Yeah, Camilo Doval, again, interesting, but somebody who could really just kind of explode in the wrong way. Like I worry about anybody who's running, walk per nine and walk percent rates like that. Like you get into the double digits with your walk percentage, that's not I don't like that. And that's a couple years running he's done that now. He's filthy when he's on, but ooh boy, I don't know. Something worries me about him a little bit. He's fine. I mean, he's better than a lot of what the Yankees were working with.
Sorry. The Guardians did claim Carlos Hernandez on waivers.
Oh, Big Chuck! Big Chuck found a home. Good for Big Chuck. God, it feels like a million years ago that he was on this team already.
It does.
And why does it feel so long ago? Oh man. He didn't even start the year with them, did he? Did he break camp with them? Maybe it was right at the end of spring. I don't remember. Who remembers these things? James Tibbs involved for Dustin May. Oh, okay. One of the guys they got
I
from
don't know
San
anything
Fran.
about him.
One of the guys they got
Braves are
from.
done. Braves did not make a move. Oh my god.
What? What are these?
That's
I mean,
rough.
good. Good. Continue to stew in it down there, but like, what are you doing? That's annoying. Or I guess I would be annoyed if I cared. I don't care. I don't care about what the Braves do. Get out of here. Marlins got to finish well ahead of the Braves by the time the season's over.
I spelled Loriano's name wrong. Fuck. Sorry, you guys are really saying how to meet it. I'm so bad at typos.
Question on YouTube from Faithful. Chance we see Crawford called up by this time next week. Probably pretty high.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think I'm gonna have a better answer for you in about 25 minutes.
Yeah, sounds good. And then another question, Hunter, which team would be most likely to rage quit in late August and put guys on waivers like the Angels in 2023? That's a good
The
point.
Angels.
Yeah, the Angels might do that again. Because they kind of tried to buy in their weird way. Luis Garcia and
Angels
Andrew
is the answer.
Chafin.
They're the most likely team to do it again.
Like ugh.
Oh,
I don't see the Braves.
Rosenthal is
I don't see the
totally
Braves doing it.
all over this.
Yeah.
And he's right. The Pirates did not trade 3 players on expiring deals: Pham, Kiner Falefa, Heaney. Nor did they move Mitch Keller. Oh my god! And they didn't move Did they trade Santana?
No.
No.
They got Bednar and Ferguson out. To the question about where does Crawford fit, we'll see. we'll
Is
see.
Taj Bradley good? That was
I
all
don't
they got
know.
for Griffin Jax.
I don't know. He seems fine. He's still young enough that maybe there's a little more in there, but like he's.
So would you rather traded Mick Abel for Griffin Jax or
No.
Mick Abel and Eduardo Tait for Johan Duran?
Yeah, I like the Duran deal. I've
Okay.
always liked Duran.
I agree with you. I'm just
yeah,
asking.
yeah. No, it's a fair question to ask. I've always liked Duran more. Jackson's put up some huge numbers the last 2 years, but no, Duran's been my guy for a while. I've loved him for a long time. Okay, cool. We are at 12 minutes past the hour. I figure we've got everything that we need. Yep, Matt's got to go get ready to talk with Dombrowski. The Phillies are done. They did their thing. They got Duran. They got Harrison Bader. There are a flurry of other teams making moves that we cannot possibly recount all at once right here. But Matt was able to join us. Thank you, Matt. Hang in there. Hope Dave gives you something in the next couple of minutes.
I don't need anything.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that'll probably do it for us for the rest of this week and weekend. And then we'll do our usual thing at the start of next week. Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, one more plug for the Patreon. If you want to join us, I'm actually going to put it in the chat this time because I only said it verbally, and that's annoying. So there you go. If you're on YouTube and Twitch, there's our link, patreon.com/Phillies Therapy, $5 a month or $50 for 10 months, for the full year, excuse me, for 12 months. We'd love to have you. The big get with that is the Discord. We also do mailbag episodes that are exclusive to you all as subscribers. It's good stuff. And yeah, we also have merch. I'm not going to link that here. You can get that link on the Patreon or in one of the episode descriptions. Okay, that's it. Matt, do you want to say anything before you log off?
No, goodbye. I gotta go.
Good stuff. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll catch you next time. I'm going to transition to thank you for watching. Bye.